almost afternoon. So apparently at 8 o'clock tonight, King Charles is going to make a announcement to the people in regards to his cancer diagnosis. And if you remember, I'm trying not to get upset. Because, I've been saying pretty much since Starmer got in, when Diana came through those codes after I had that dream about Queen Elizabeth, that they were going to kill the king and they were going to hide it under illness. They were going to, the whole Pegasus thing. It's all there on my social media. Everything that I said, I've reminded you of everything. But everyone knows that I've been saying that they were planning on killing the king because they need him out of the way. They want to abolish the monarchy. They're targeting any country that has a monarchy or wants to bring back their monarchy, like Russia and even France, and that we're talking about bringing back, like restoring their monarchies. So this whole panic that we're seeing at the moment with war is because what's happened is people like Ursula von der Leyen and that Callas, that psycho Callas, their names are starting to get brought up in the Ukrainian money laundering scandal. And it's only a matter of time before it's people like Mark Root and Starmer and Carney and all that, all the warmongers, all the people baying for the blood of Russians and Ukrainians, all the people who need to avoid being caught up in this money laundering scandal because they're starting to find money in offshore accounts. And Queen Elizabeth had said to King Charles that Keir Starmer was hiding money in offshore accounts and that it needed to be investigated. I said that when I worked out the codes, I said that there would be something happening during Pegasus after Donald Trump's state visit. I said if the king gets sick, when I was working out the Pegasus codes, I said if the king gets sick after Donald Trump's visit, they got him. And now the king's about to announce the king, all the announcements that they've made in regards to the king's health so far have been limited to social media posts. And the last update was, yes, he's got cancer and he's going to have cancer forever, but it's not terminal. So if this announcement that he makes at 8 o'clock tonight is to say that he's terminal, they got him. And I was right. And this need to hurry up and start a war is for a couple of things. It's so that people like Starmer can avoid elections, but also to hide the fact that they've been laundering money because they need to hurry up and distract everyone from the fact that they're all about to get named in this Ukrainian money laundering scandal. It's already been tied to human trafficking and organ harvesting and offshore accounts and yachts and apparently a lot of the NATO EU leaders have suddenly bought new yachts and bigger houses and that sort of thing. So and the Queen had said to check Starmer's accounts and check the accounts of their wives and families and that because they were hiding money everywhere, especially under fake businesses and that. So all that started to come true. So now they're panicking and they need to hurry up and threaten Russia with the war. Because remember, when they started the war with Russia during the lockdown, the Queen, they got the Queen. The whole COVID thing with the Queen, they got the Queen. Distraction, war, Russia, Ukraine, rah, 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 right? And now the same thing's happening with the king. Russia, Ukraine, war, rah, rah, rah. And now it looks like they've got the king. I'm trying not to get emotional because it's like I've spent 1.5 years. You all know I've made the videos. I put myself out there. I put my life on the line. Last night I really did. My life was put on the line. I'm not going to go into it. But anyway, yeah, something happened last night where I don't think they wanted me to be alive today. But that's all I'm going to say. I had been trying for 1.5 years to say to him, they're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. They're out to kill you. They're out to kill you. Everybody said I was nuts. Everybody said I was crazy. Everybody turned their back on me. Everybody avoided me like the plague. And if that announcement that he makes at 8 o'clock tonight is that he's dying, I was spot on. And now they need to hurry up and start a war to cover the fact that I exposed their plot to kill the king and take down the monarchy. Donald Trump said it himself in that Q post, remove the Queen, get rid of the king, get rid of the bishops and the this and the that. He spelled it out exactly. And I said to the king, if you get sick after he leaves, ... So I'm trying not to get upset because, as I had said multiple times before, we're trying to cleanse his soul so that when he does die, he can die in peace, that his conscience is clear. We wanted to give him the grand hurrah so that he could enjoy his time on the throne in peace, where he's not having to worry about war and his grandkids being under threat with this flu and vaccine, because I said with this Pegasus one, it's going to target the elderly, babies and children, and it's exactly what's happening. Everything I said that was going to happen is happening exactly how I said it. And those bastards have killed my king. So I'm telling you now, people of Great Britain, we need to impeach Starmer, we need to impeach Labour, and I will run for Prime Minister if I have to, and if I get in, I will be holding Labour, the Conservatives, I will be holding all of them, the NHS, the police, the whole lot of them responsible for the death of the king, and I will bring back the death penalty just for them. And then I will insist that all the money that has been donated to Ukraine gets investigated. Every single penny, I want to know where it went. Every single goddamn penny. And because now what's happening is they've turned people against that poor king so much, he's not even had a chance to even be a proper king. He's had to spend his whole reign being treated like shit by people because they painted him out to be like a selfish, greedy, uncaring asshole, and that's just not true. His mother, his great-great-great-grandmother, his ancestors in God and his ex-wife wouldn't have bent the laws of physics and defied the laws of physics to come out to warn him and his family what was coming if he was a bad person. I know how this works. And I tried to warn him, and I feel like I've let his mum down. If he had just listened and made that phone call. And the thing is, I might look like a right dick by 8 o'clock tonight. I hope I do. I hope it turns out he's like, hey, I'm in remission and let's have a party. And then I'll be like, oh my God, I stressed out for nothing. But I've been pulling up codes where I said to the king, are you dying? I said, because why are your ancestors suddenly surrounding you? Like, that doesn't usually happen unless someone's dying. And then I found a post where I had a dream where I was talking to my son about it, and I was in it was like a royal variety performance thing, and I was as my character Brehena Thutha, and I stepped out onto the stage, and I remember Prince William and Princess Catherine were like up in the balcony thing, dressed in all their stuff, and I came out on stage and they'd asked me to announce to everyone that the king was dying and that he wanted to spend his remaining time with everybody just celebrating Britain and his family's legacy. And I was saying to my son in the dream, I was being like, they were asking me to be the one to make the announcement to people. So yeah, after 8 o'clock tonight, I'm either going to look like a dick or I'm going to be hysterical. I warned him. This shouldn't have happened. This should never have happened. It shouldn't have happened like this. I said to him, when I started figuring out what they'd done to the Queen, I said to him, did you have the vaccine injection? I said, because you got cancer not long after all this happened. You and Kate did. And I said, if you had the jab and also see that, and I said to him as well about Bill Gates's printer meat, that's been linked to give you things like stomach cancer and bowel cancer and, the cancers of like the digestive system and all that. And I said to him, I hope you don't eat that meat because it gives you cancer. So oh my God. I don't even know what to say. The warning was right there. And now the EU and NATO and all of that, they're panicking. The World Health Organization and the weapon that they're panicking because this pandemic isn't getting the reaction that they wanted it to. And now they warned the king what they were planning to do to the king. And now it's all happening in the time frame that I said, the way that I said, with who I said. All the players are starting to fall into place. The EU and NATO and Starmer and Labour, all the warmongers, were all in on what's happening to my king, and I'm devastated. He should have had a good long, maybe not like a long reign because of his age, but he should have gotten a lot longer than what he did. And he certainly shouldn't be spending the rest of his time having to worry about a world war that his friends have started just so they can cover up the fact they killed his mother and make money trafficking children they steal from Ukraine so they can feed the soldiers back to the people. And this whole thing sounds so phantasmagorical and ridiculous. And everybody said I was nuts. Oh my God, she's crazy. Like my own kids were like, what the hell? But I stood by my truth. It didn't matter what anybody said. I knew what they were saying about me. I knew everyone was laughing behind closed doors. I knew they were plotting and planning to take me down and shut me up and deport me. And then after what happened last night, I'm pretty sure they tried to pull off June 22 again. But luckily God was on it, man. God was right there, just like last time. I'm fine though, by the way. I'm perfectly fine. I'm just letting it get out of my system. What happened, I'm just releasing it. So all I can do at this point is try and do everything I can to make sure that however long the king has left, he enjoys his reign with his people beside him, to give him a good send-off. But in order to do that, we have to restore Britain. I hope we've got enough time to do it. So we need to impeach Starmer. We need to get him arrested. We need to lock him up. He's done very, very bad things to our king to hide the fact that him and his friends are making a lot of money hurting children. And now that I've linked some of that money to a sale of the house through the king, they'll be shitting themselves because it's all getting caught up. The Queen said they've left a paper trail, and I've been gathering all those bits of paper on that trail to present to the king. I feel like a little kid I feel like I'm like 4 years old with a stack of papers standing up to this giant man. Saying, please, Your Majesty. The monster on the bed's trying to hurt your family. But I'm still doing it. I might only feel like I'm 4, standing in front of a king. But he's my king and I'm allowed. So we need to get these signatures, people. We've got to take these signatures to the king before it's too late. We've got to get to him now before we're burying him. And we have to get Starmer held accountable because they've done this. They've done this to him. They did it to his mum. They did it to his dad. They did it to him. And they're trying to get to his grandkids. And not if they not go near the king. I said to the king in one of my dreams a few weeks ago, this is about George. This message right here is about George and making sure that George gets to be king. And I don't always understand the things that I say when I say them because I'm connecting to the mind of God, you know, in the creation frequency. So my physical self doesn't always know what my conscious self is doing. So a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense until everything happens. And now it's happening. I'm just like, oh my God. So if it turns out that he is dying, I was 100% right about everything. About the plot, the EU, NATO, Labour, Tory, American, CIA, Mossad, Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein plot since Tony Blair to destroy the monarchy and kill the Queen and kill the King. Donald Trump in that Q message spouted out, remove the Queen, get rid of the King, the bishops, you know, the pawns as in like the lords. You know how they're getting rid of like lords and all that? Donald Trump spelled it out. And I warned the king, I warned the king, I warned the king. So this is it, people. This is crunch time when our government and the EU and NATO and that are getting to the point where they're killing off our royal families so that they can go to war and have access to children and minerals and the meat of dead soldiers. We can't dick about anymore. They're getting ready to try and kill off the children with the vaccines and this fake flu. There's 2,000 people in 73 hospitals, and they're making out like it's a bubonic plague, but it's literally just the flu. Just take zinc. If you're under the age of 12, you'll have to take it through food. But if you're over the age of 12, just take zinc and you'll never get the flu again. I don't know anyone that's sick, and I'm surrounded by elderly people. So I'm bracing myself for 8 o'clock tonight. I feel like I should be sitting with like a bloody gin or something. I don't drink, but I'm preparing for my nerves. I wish he'd listened. I wish he had listened. I wish he had listened. Asp. In the movie Becoming Spellbound, his mum said, Asp, don't drink the poison or it's going to kill you. And apparently he drank the poison. I came up with that movie while Trump was here too. It was around that time. So they slipped him the poison and he did drink it. But in the movie, the people that slipped him the poison got arrested. Baron von Crumple and that, and the one that I call Kiergor, because you just see his hand putting the poison in the cup, the belladonna in the cup. He drank the poison. But in the movie, they get arrested because in the background of the TVs and that, you see them talking about the trials of the people who attempted to kill the king. But now I'm going to have to, after tonight, if it turns out that he's terminal, I'm going to have to put it in that that he drank the poison. I think I even said the other day, when he made that announcement to declare his support for Ukraine, I wish he hadn't have done that. I bet he wishes he hadn't have done that now. When he came out in support of Ukraine, I said he drank the poison. And now he's, and I said he drank the poison. I'm going to have to kill him off in the movie. He's going to have to die in the movie. Oh my God. I feel sick. So just get ready. But if this is true, if after tonight it's announced that the king is terminal, I was 100% right about the WEF, the WHO, NATO, the EU, Starmer's government, since Tony Blair, the Queen said. They've been plotting this since Tony Blair, helping Mossad. Oh my God. I just want to give him a hug and say to him, you stupid bugger, you should have listened. So now there's reports that Catherine's they're trying to fix everything with Harry and Meghan. That they seem to be bringing Harry and Meghan back into the fold and making amends in that, which would make sense because if William's about to be king, and it's what Diana had said in that message. She said when William becomes king, Harry's the only one who's going to be strong enough to be his backbone. And she said to Charles, you have to get them back together. It's all there. It's all out. I wish I could fix it for him so that his time left is spent being appreciated by the people. He deserves his time on earth to be a celebration where people get to celebrate him, celebrate the legacy of his mum and his family, not having to deal with backstabbing politicians and psychopathic best friends and business partners who are threatening to send his people to war because they don't want him to know what they've been doing behind his back. I swear to God, though, as God is my witness, as I'm standing right here today, if it is God's plan to make me Prime Minister of Great Britain, I will go after every single one of them, and I will hold them all accountable for every penny that they've taken from the British taxpayer in regards to that war in Russia and Palestine. It's unfair because he hasn't been king for long, and his time being king has been having to deal with that pathetic little prick gallivanting around Europe acting like he's Mr. Big Man on campus, covering up his dalliances with Ukrainian gay rent boys and setting neighbourhoods on fire to cover up his dirty trysts as a married man, and he's got children, and you're sniffing coke on trains and putting things out over in the towers that are making people do the worst things to humans in Britain just so that he's got an excuse to bring his thugs in to get them arrested and locked up. This whole we need to lock down social media and control what people say is because of people like me. They're trying to stop people like me because as soon as I started saying to the king, I'm getting these codes, you need to be aware that your mum is trying to warn you that Starmer's up to something, and if you're not careful, they're going to kill you. You're going to die, they're going to kill you, that'll be it. They'll destroy the monarchy, they'll do this, they'll do that. As soon as I started getting those codes, I stood there, putting everything I had on the line, knowing that any moment the Gestapo could turn up and take me away, but I did it just in case at some point he woke up. I said, now it's too late. But then at 5 minutes past 8, I might be doing a thing saying, oh my God, he's announced he's in remission. I look like an idiot now. But I'd rather have that and know that we were going to get him for a bit longer than be right and get ready to bury him next year. And it's funny because I'd said at some point this year that a lot of the people that we're dealing with in this Ukraine EU scandal thing, that a lot of these elites and that wouldn't be alive by this time next year. I know people like Bill Gates and Bill Clinton won't be. I try. Everybody knows I tried to save him. I put it out there over and over and over and over and over again. Everybody knows I tried to save King Charles. It's like he was playing a game of Russian roulette and I told him which one was going to have the bullet in it. And he did it anyway. So we need to rally together, people of Great Britain, and we need to go down there and get that man and that government shut down. And we need to demand, but instead of going through Parliament, we need to take it straight to the King and Prince William if we have to. Because I think now they have to sit up and take notice of what I'm saying. And we can fix this for him so that his time here is spent enjoying Great Britain and not having to lock himself away from it because of fake pandemics and bombs dropping. Starmer so desperately wants Vladimir Putin to attack Great Britain, and it's never going to happen. Not while I'm here, anyway. Vladimir Putin has no interest in attacking Great Britain or Europe. They're ridiculous. They're hysterical. They're hysterical because they know they're on the brink of getting taken down for this corruption scandal. And now that everything I said that they were planning to do is coming true, they're going to get implicated in the death of the king as well. It goes to prove how evil they all are, that they were prepared to kill our queen and then our king in order to get to Russia, to get their hands on children, to get back at the queen for having no faith in Israel. Slaves to Israel, and I'm not talking about the Jews, I'm talking about the government. Well, God's just caught them all in his net now. They can't escape from this. They've been planning, like the World Health Organization and that were talking about, oh, there's this big super flu coming in. And I was like, yeah, because they've planned it. Then when I figured out the whole Pegasus thing was the super flu, and that's when I started saying to the king, they're coming to get you. They're after you. They either put something in the air or something like in his food, in his system. In the movie, it was belladonna in his drink. So I don't know whether it was something he consumed, but it was definitely something that he took into his body around about the time Donald Trump came for his state visit, from the sounds of things. Because airborne. I was like, did he bring it over in the plane? what they're going to use to try and hurt the king. I couldn't figure it out. But the proof is undeniable now. I swear to God, I feel like I'm like a little girl, like a 4-year-old, like I'm 4, and I'm standing in front of this 9-foot man dressed as a king, and I'm holding up these just stacks of paper, holding it up to him, saying, "Please, Your Majesty, can you read this?" So, I'm sorry I'm emotional. It's just, I'm a death angel as well, so I'm used to being around people that are dying. Like, I help people prepare for the afterlife. And at this point, I think this is pretty much all I can do for him if it turns out he's terminal. All I can do is help prepare him for the afterlife. If I got to be Prime Minister, if we have a snap election and I was able to be Prime Minister, I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, I would just shut Great Britain off. Like I said, I'd put us in a bubble. I'd clean up the streets, turn us into the Garden of Eden, and I'd just let that man wander. And we'd put on concerts and festivals and church fetes, and we'll get the Union Jack bunting up again, and get the church bells ringing, and get the people filled with the pubs and singing shanties, and we'd get Britain singing again, we'd get Britain celebrating again. It would be like one big farewell party to the king. It's just I've known him my whole life. I grew up with him. I've got books in my ex's basement about the king and his mum when they were little. Like, I've got books. And I grew up with him. I remember on my birthday, my parents saved up and got me this book about King Charles, and it was just like when he was in the RAF or something. I remember he was standing by a helicopter anyway. On the front cover, the books are at my ex's house. I've got books about Queen Elizabeth and Princess Margaret when they were babies. That were my mum's books, so they're quite old. Him and Diana's wedding album and all of that. I've got like teaspoons with him on it. And I'm not prepared. I'm not ready. I just lost my niece this year. Don't want to have to lose my king as well. I almost lost the love of my life. I keep saying I'm single and he keeps pulling me back, and I keep walking away and he keeps pulling me back. He drives me up the bloody wall, that man. But I can't breathe without him. We can't breathe without each other. I'm so sorry, Your Majesty. Maybe if I'd done more, maybe if I was louder, maybe if I had more of a presence, I don't know. What could I have done to make him listen sooner? No, one thing's for sure, we've got to hold Starmer and his government and the NHS accountable. They have to be held accountable. If I'm Prime Minister as well, we will be pulling out of the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization and the UN and NATO. We'll be pulling out of the whole lot. We'll take care of ourselves. Thank you very much. We're the British Empire. We didn't need anyone before them. We don't need them now. Thank you very much. I can hear Royal Britannia in my head. Oh, I wish I could give him a hug and bake him some of my Afghans. His mum, absolute in the dream, she was adamant he would love my chocolate Afghans. So, yeah, a bit emotional today, but it's because I'm bracing for the worst. Because this shouldn't have happened. But now that it looks like it is, I was spot on about everything. So all these people that are trying to convince you that Russia are evil and Vladimir Putin's the bad guy, they've just assassinated our king under the guise of cancer, just like I said they would, during a pandemic, just like I said they would. Just like they did his mother, it's history repeating itself. And ironically, what happened to me last night, it's all history repeating itself, because remember the Queen died when I got locked up and I was being poisoned then. So, yeah, history repeating itself. Just prepare yourself, Great Britain, and if we do get the worst tonight, I am 100% prepared to go down there and fight for us to get those people out of power, but I need your help to do it. I'm one woman, I'm poor, I don't drive, I'm in Yorkshire, but I'll do it. I'll take the papers, I'll get on the train, whatever you need me to do. But this has to stop now. This stops now. No war. There will be no war with Russia. They're all going to be under investigation for corruption, money laundering, human trafficking, organ harvesting, and, if I've got anything to do with it, the death of the King and Queen Elizabeth. They will not touch a single hair on Russia's head, because the second they go near them, God will wipe them off the face of the earth, and Russia will not have to do a thing. Somebody else will take care of them for him. I think that's me. I think I'm the one that's going to be wrapping this up for him, because they're all about to get arrested for some very, 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 very serious crimes, where the evidence that I've been gathering to take to the courts under the watch of the ICC and the European Union Human Rights Commission, or whatever it is, I'm ready to go. I've got the papers there. I can prove it all. Can't be denied. None of this stuff can be denied, what they've done to children, what they've done to the soldiers, what they've done to Russia, what they've done to Vladimir, what they've done to the Queen, what they've done to the King. Everything. Everything. Because they can't keep their mouths shut. They have to talk. So I've just been gathering the documents and the information all ready to go, because I've been waiting for the day for this to all blow up, so that by the time the attention hit the world stage, the evidence couldn't be denied. Regardless of how much Elon Musk tries to shadow ban me and squash my outreach, it's getting out there. People are already starting to pass on my information and use my words and ask this, jump on my bandwagon, so to speak. So I'm gonna pray I'm wrong, but at the same time I also want to make sure that if the worst comes to worst, I kind of feel like I need to do my part to help him cross over in peace. Because if he's swearing his allegiance to countries like Germany before he dies, and they're the bad guys, then he's not going to meet his mum when he dies. And then maybe I was only born into his life to help him find peace before he crossed over. I really hope it turns out the news is good and he's completely fine. It's just he's never made a televised announcement in front of Great Britain before, so in regards to his treatment, so I'm bracing myself for the worst. But if it turns out I'm wrong, then yay! But if it turns out I'm right, then this is when we need to roll our sleeves up, Great Britain and the people of the Commonwealth, the people of Europe, when they're offing our royal families in order to steal children and earn money from it on behalf of their god Molech of Israel. When it's getting to that point, that's when we need to rally together and get our placards and our pitchforks and our torches and head to our parliaments and get these people hurt. Get them hurt. And I will lead the charge, especially here in England. I would be my greatest pleasure to be the reason that man goes down. If I get to make him cry on his way out, I will be so happy. I kept having dreams. Remember, I've been saying over and over again, I keep having dreams. Keir Starmer gets arrested. I'm telling you now, Keir Starmer's going to get arrested. I was right about everything. Our Prime Minister and his government have just killed our king. If he announces he's terminally ill tonight, our Prime Minister killed our king. He's the walking dead. And I can't have that. So, I feel mana. I can feel my mana rising. My inner warrior, my inner mighty warrior starting to come out. I can feel it rising. I can feel the energy coming up through the ground of my tupuna, of my ancestors. And I have this overwhelming need to want to do the haka, like loud, and stamp the ground to wake up the ancestors and get them battle ready. Because I think the spirits of the dead have just declared war on Keir Starmer's government. It's my 2007 dream, with the mighty warriors running across the field to meet the British people, and then they all ran together, and the buildings started collapsing and the glass was smashing, and there was people rioting, cars were tipped over, and that people were absolutely furious in this dream. It's, I've talked about it before. That's next. London's calling. I think I'm heading to London. And I'm bringing a legion of warriors with me. Both British and Māori. I can feel it. I can feel the energy rising up from the ground, coming up into my legs, and that my mana, my spiritual authority is starting to rise up in me. This is war. This is war. Not with Russia, with Starmer's government. The ancestors are rising. The dead are rising. Rising up inside me to be the strength of a legion of mighty warriors. And one little 4-year-old girl. I feel so little next to him, next to the king, because I'm just no one. And he's a king, but he's my king. But I watched him grow from a prince to a king, and it just seems unfair. It's just unfair. He should have had 20 years. He pisses me off and I yell at him, but I love him. I've loved him since I was a little girl. I always thought it was so cool he was the same star sign as me, Scorpio Rat. That's why I know him. The people can say what they like about him, but I know him because I am him. I'm the girl version of him. I know how he thinks and feels. And this is not what he had planned. This is not how he thought it was going to go. He trusted the wrong people. And the only person that actually truly had his back was the little 4-year-old girl. I feel so sorry for him. I just want to give him a hug. So we'll see what happens. I might be looking like a right dick. I hope I do. I'd rather be known for being overly emotional for loving my king than for not having any emotions over it at all. So just get ready, people of Great Britain. If the news is bad tonight, you need to start hooking up with me so that we can do something about getting that little bitch out of government. Put me in a ring with him, and then we'll see how tough he is. That's what I said to the king ages ago. Give me a pair of boxing gloves and put me in the ring with him. I'll fight him, even with my destroyed stomach and all of that. I'd absolutely knock him out, knock him on his ass. Oh, I need to calm down now. I'm just preparing myself. Just get ready, people of Great Britain, because after tonight, all hell's about to break loose, and I'm the one that is cracking open the underworld. I'm the one that has the power, and I'm going to be using the full force of my power to make sure that that man and his government and the people of the EU don't go anywhere near Great Britain or Russia or my royal family ever again. What they've just done to my king is their nail in their coffin of every single one of their careers and freedoms. I guarantee you that now. They've declared war. They've declared a spiritual war, not just a holy war, a spiritual war. Because a spiritual war means now all the dead are going to rise. I'll speak to you later. Let's see what happens tonight. I love you, King Charles. I can't. God save the King. God save Great Britain. Rule Britannia. I'm not even British. I just...